Hi everyone, so now we'll be talking about the fourth declension. Like third declension nouns, there is one set of endings for masculine and feminine nouns. And like the second declension nouns, there's also a separate set of endings for the neuter gender. So that leaves us with one set of endings for masculine and feminine, and another set of endings for the neuter. Okay, so now I'll give you some dictionary entries for the fourth declension nouns. Okay. Fourth declension and here, I'll just write examples. Examples. Okay, so first I'll give you a masculine, exercitus, exercitus, masculine, army. Another one, I'll give you a feminine, manus, manus, feminine, hand. And finally, I'll give you a neuter as well, and I'll give you cornu, cornus, neuter, and means horn. And if you'll notice, like I said, there's one set of endings for the masculine and feminine, so they have the same endings for nominative and the same endings for genitive, which just so happen to be the same for all of them. They all end in us. Okay, so now that you have the dictionary entry, I'll give you two sets of endings, one for the masculine and feminine and one for the neuter. Let me scroll down so we have more room. Okay, and I'll draw my charts again. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. And again, for the neuter, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, and I'll draw the charts with the two columns, one for singular, one for plural, and the same for neuter. And let me just label these. This can be feminine or it can be masculine. And then the other one can only be neuter. Okay, so if we go back to the dictionary entries, we can just go ahead and copy down for the first two, for the masculine and feminine, us for the nominative, and us for the genitive. Okay, so the dative is ui, so it's us, ui. Accusative is and ablative is us, ui, u. And the plural is us with a macron. Genitive is with two u's. And the dative is ibus. And accusative is us, and ablative is ibus. And as you can see, there are not only many similarities within the declension itself, as in us, and ibus, and ibus, but there's also quite a few similarities to other declensions. Like the us can also be the second declension masculine nominative singular ending as well. And the is often accusative for the masculine. And the ibus is also common in third declension, both the ibus. And my answer to that is just there's really no way to you're going to have to just memorize the endings and take from the context of the sentence what case it belongs to. And you're just going to have to remember the dictionary entry to know which gender or which declension it belongs to. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and give you the neuter endings, and you're going to run into the same problem again with the neuter endings. There are a lot of similarities. So let's go ahead and write down the first letter. As you can tell right here in the dictionary entry, the ending for nominative is oo, genitive is oos, dative is oo, accusative is also oo, and the ablative is also oo. And actually all those have macrons on them, but you don't really have to remember that. I'll just put them there. And then nominative plural is ooah. Genitive plural is oom, I guess, to use. And the dative plural is ebus. Accusative is always the same as the nominative, and it's ooah. And ebus is the ablative. Okay, so now that you have the endings, I'll decline the masculine noun and the neuter noun I just gave you. And if you remember, you always start out by removing the endings of the nominative and genitive in the dictionary entry to find your stem. Then you copy down your stem in the chart and add the endings. And if you'll notice, a lot of neuter fourth declension endings are exactly the same as I mentioned. So when you start translating, you'll have to determine the case of the noun just by context, which can be a little bit difficult at first. But when you become a little bit better at translation, it only becomes easier. So I will decline, like I promised. That should be a P. The nouns I gave you above. One of the masculine or feminine, and then one of the neuters. And put our cases in. Never go down across a bridge. I still use that mnemonic device that I mentioned in the last video. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. Okay, so the ones I used above, I'll go with manus for the masculine or feminine. So you just put down, you can take your stem, or you can just write the whole word itself. But I'm just going to go ahead and copy down the stem in all of the case slots. And turns out it's man for this, or mon. Okay, so then after that, you're just going to go ahead and tack on your endings. And if you look above, you'll see it's oos, oos, ooey, oo, oos, ebus, oos, ebus. Okay, there you have it. That's the feminine noun for declension. And now we'll just go ahead and do the same for the neuter. And I'll use cornu, cornus. And you can see the stem, since I circled the endings already, the stem is corn. Just copy that down in every space. Corn. Okay, so once you've done that, you're just going to go ahead and write down your endings. And if you look above, you can just jot them down right next to it. Oo, oos, oo, ooh, ooah, ebus, ooah, ebus. Okay, so that was fourth declension. In the next video, we'll be talking about the fifth and final declension. Thanks for watching.